Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we explore the insights aiming to give you that, well, that powerful edge. Today we're diving into something really fascinating. Emotional intelligence. You probably know it as EQ.
Right.
And if you're someone people often describe as, deeply empathetic, maybe very insightful, someone who just feels what's going on with others, then this deep dive, it's definitely for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal today really is to explore how you can genuinely harness those natural emotional abilities you have
Okay.
and maybe turn that sensitivity, which can sometimes feel like a burden, perhaps.
Overwhelming sometimes.
Exactly. Turn it into a real solid strength, in your personal life, but also professionally. The sources we've looked at, they really highlight the key parts of EQ and crucially give some practical ways to develop it.
Okay, so just to set the stage.
hmm
This discussion is really built on the material about emotional intelligence, and we're focusing particularly on why it's so relevant for people who already have that strong intuition, that deep emotional understanding. So let's jump right in,
Yeah.
because the power here is really about empowering you.
Okay, great. So let's unpack this term, emotional intelligence, EQ. What is it, really? Well, at its heart, it's not about book smarts.
Right.
It's your ability to first recognize and understand your own emotions and then manage them effectively. But just as important, it's about tuning into understanding and navigating the emotions of other people.
And that distinction from IQ, the intelligence quotient, which is, pure cognitive power. It's so important.
It really is.
Our sources kept pointing this out. IQ might open doors, sure, but EQ, that's what often determines long-term success and fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's less about what you know
Yeah.
and much more about how you handle yourself and interact with others.
Yeah.
How you navigate that whole human landscape.
And that's a skill that seems particularly sharp in people who naturally feel things deeply.
Exactly. And people with high EQ, they don't just cope.
Yeah.
They often thrive, right? They excel in leadership. They build stronger, more meaningful relationships.
And report better well-being overall, both mentally and physically. It's quite striking.
It really is.
And the fascinating thing is this isn't just some vague soft skill. It's actually a set of abilities you can measure, develop, and they have real concrete benefits.
Okay.
So to really get it, we need to look at the foundations, the pillars of EQ. And the first one is absolutely crucial, especially maybe for listeners who resonate with that empathetic description, self-awareness.
Self-awareness. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is about having a really deep, honest grasp of your own emotions, your strengths, but also your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities.
Precisely. And for someone with a really rich, maybe complex inner world, like our sources described, this isn't just a quick exercise. It can be a really profound, ongoing journey. It's about noticing those subtle internal shifts, like when you start feeling overwhelmed or stressed or anxious.
Before it gets too big.
Exactly. And then actively engaging with those feelings, managing them proactively before they kind of take over the steering wheel.
Right. So you're in control, not the emotion.
Yeah. And a really key point here, especially for someone who's already quite tuned in emotionally, the challenge in self-awareness might not be noticing the feeling itself, but understanding why it's hitting so hard or what specifically triggered it.
Okay. The root cause.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like being your own emotional detective, looking for the clues your mind and body are giving you. This helps you respond more intentionally, thoughtfully, instead of just having a knee-jerk reaction.
I like that, emotional detective. That really captures it. So, okay, if you want to strengthen that internal compass, what can you actually do?
Well, regular self-reflection is huge. Maybe keeping a journal.
Okay.
But not just listing events, asking deeper questions like, what was really bothering me in that situation? Or what triggered that strong reaction? Maybe even, how could I have responded differently? Maybe more constructively.
Makes sense.
And you mentioned those frameworks earlier, like Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram.
Yeah.
For people trying to understand a complex inner world, these aren't just labels. They can offer a useful language, a way to map out your typical emotional responses or thought patterns.
So you help pinpoint the source of triggers, not just notice them.
Exactly. They provide structure for that self-detective work.
Got it.
And another really powerful tool is mindfulness, just practicing being present.
Okay.
For highly sensitive or empathetic people, mindfulness helps you become aware of the sheer volume of thoughts, feelings, sensations you're processing without getting swept away.
Sort of observing without judgment.
Precisely. Observing your emotional responses, especially when things get tough, gives you valuable real-time data about yourself.
And what about getting outside perspectives?
Oh, absolutely crucial.
Right.
Actively seeking feedback from people you trust, friends, colleagues, maybe a mentor.
That can be hard, though.
It can be, but it's invaluable. They can offer insights into how you come across things you might not see yourself, those blind spots, especially for sensitive individuals. Maybe like, are you unknowingly taking on too much of other people's emotional stuff? Feedback can highlight that.
Right. That's a really good point. Okay, so once you've got a better handle on your own internal world through self-awareness, the next step is naturally looking outwards towards others. And this next pillar, empathy. Well, for many listeners, this might already feel very familiar.
Yes, I suspect so. Empathy. It's that ability to truly understand, to connect with what other people are feeling, thinking, experiencing, their perspective.
It's more than just sympathy, right? It's really trying to step into their shoes.
Exactly. Not just intellectually understanding, but trying to genuinely feel with them, or at least deeply appreciate what they might be feeling, and then responding with real compassion.
And this is where that intuitive side really comes into play.
Absolutely. Picking up on the subtle things, the nonverbal cues, the unspoken needs, responding in a way that makes the other person feel genuinely seen and heard, validated.
So for people who are naturally empathetic, the work isn't necessarily learning empathy from scratch.
No, not at all. It's more about refining it.
Good.
Moving from maybe just passively absorbing emotions.
Which can be draining.
Hugely draining. Moving from that to active inquiry. Using that empathy consciously, skillfully.
So how do you cultivate that active empathy if you're already feeling so much?
It's often about intentional actions, like consciously trying to see a situation from the other person's viewpoint, asking open-ended questions, how did that make you feel, or what's that like for you, rather than making assumptions.
And really listening.
Actively listening, not just waiting to talk, but tuning into the words, the tone, the emotion behind the words, showing genuine interest. That transforms your natural insight from just a feeling to a powerful tool for building real connection. Deep connection, not superficial.
Okay, that makes sense. So self-awareness, empathy.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next up is emotional regulation. This is all about your ability to manage your own emotional responses effectively.
Okay, manage. Does that mean suppressing feelings?
No, definitely not. That's a common misconception. It's not about pretending you don't feel things. It's about choosing how you express those feelings, ideally in healthy, constructive ways.
Gotcha. Not letting the emotion hijack your behavior.
Exactly. And this one is so important for empathetic individuals because if you're naturally tuned in, you might be more prone to soaking up emotions from people or situations around you.
Right, like an emotional sponge sometimes?
Precisely. So emotional regulation is about developing, let's say, a good emotional filter. Not a wall to shut things out, but a filter so you can engage with the world without constantly feeling overwhelmed or thrown off balance.
So it's about finding ways to calm down when you're upset. Pausing before reacting.
Yes, exactly. Developing strategies. Maybe it's noticing that initial gut reaction, like when you get a stressful email, that immediate clench in your stomach.
Oh, yeah.
Regulation is about noticing that, taking a breath, and then deciding how to respond, rather than just firing back immediately based on that initial surge of feeling. It's about channeling that emotional energy productively.
Okay, so control, but not repression. That's the key.
That's the absolute key. And developing this, finding healthy outlets for stress is paramount.
Like what?
Well, whatever works for you. Mindfulness is great here too. Regular exercise, talking things through with a trusted friend, maybe a therapist.
Practical coping mechanisms?
Yes. And even in the moment, things like practicing deep breathing, just simple relaxation techniques when you feel that overwhelm creeping in, they can be incredibly effective at just bringing you back to center.
Allowing your insight to guide you rather than just the raw emotion.
Beautifully put, yes.
Okay. Self-awareness, empathy, emotional regulation. It's one more pillar, right?
Yes, the fourth one ties it all together in action. Social skills.
Ah, okay. So this is where you take that internal work, the self-awareness, the empathy, and apply it in your interactions with others.
Exactly. It covers a lot, actually. Things like communicating effectively, resolving conflicts constructively, really listening actively.
Building rapport.
Yes, building genuine rapport. It's about knowing the dance of conversation, when to speak, when to listen, how to assert your own needs respectfully without trampling on others, and even how to inspire or influence people in a positive, authentic way.
And connecting this back to our sources. They mentioned a specific challenge here for people with deep internal insights.
They did. It's often about translating those complex, nuanced inner understandings into clear external communication and action.
Bridging the internal and external worlds.
Precisely. It's one thing to intuitively get a situation or a person. It's another skill entirely to articulate that understanding effectively or act on it appropriately.
Okay, so how do you practice that? Social skills sound big.
They are, but you practice them in small ways every day. It's about consciously looking for opportunities.
For example?
Maybe it's choosing to communicate more clearly and empathetically with a coworker you find challenging, trying to understand their perspective instead of just reacting to the difficulty.
Right.
Or maybe it's resolving a disagreement with a friend by really listening, using your empathy, and finding a solution that works for both of you, actually strengthening the relationship in the process.
So it's about seeing daily interactions as practice grounds.
Exactly. These aren't just abstract concepts. They are concrete skills you can actively practice, get better at, and really master over time.
Wow. Okay, so those are the pillars. Self-awareness, empathy, emotional regulation, and social skills.
That's the framework. And tying this all together, it's really important to remember that emotional intelligence isn't some endpoint you reach, like, okay, done that.
Right. It's ongoing.
It's absolutely a journey of continuous growth, learning, self-improvement. It's about truly understanding, embracing, and then actively honing those incredible emotional and intuitive gifts you inherently possess.
And by committing to that journey, really working on these areas,
you unlock so much potential. Potential for deeper connections, more meaningful impact in the world, and honestly, just living life with a bit more ease and resilience.
Yeah, it circles back to those core benefits. Stronger relationships, better communication, improved well-being overall.
Definitely.
It really does sound like unlocking a superpower.
It kind of is. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, something to reflect on.
Okay.
Sometimes that journey, that road to really hitting your stride and finding momentum, it can feel bumpy, tumultuous even.
Yeah, growth isn't always smooth.
No. And often, according to some of the ideas in our sources, that bumpiness might be because the deeper why behind it all isn't quite clear yet. But here's the interesting part. Your environment, your interactions, even the really challenging ones, they can actually provide what one source called the last piece of struggle that will make you succeed. Because navigating those challenges, using your developing emotional intelligence to understand and manage them, that process is what builds resilience. It forces growth. And as you get better at navigating, you naturally start to attract or generate a better network of people around you, people who resonate with your growing EQ.
So the struggles aren't just obstacles, they can be catalysts.
Exactly. The journey isn't purely internal. It's this dynamic dance between your inner growth and EQ and how you consciously engage with and shape your external world in response. It's all connected.